All right, so there is a QR code here now. For those of you who are near, I see some of new names who joined today. Thank you for signing up. You might want to scan the QR code and make it a bookmark, right? Because it's a resource page that I've created for all of the sellers and attendees. There's a lot of useful resources from Seller Education, Seller University, Seller Central, and you can also sign up for other webinars or other events there as well, right? And then it also links you to the other official Amazon resources. So do remember to check out the QR code. Okay. All right. Moving on. Some important notice. You might want to take a quick read. Okay. So, yep, we do have recording. So whatever I'm sharing today will be recorded, and then I will be putting up the recording for you to watch the playback on our official YouTube channel. Right, this is the handler at Amazon Global Selling. Right now, however, every session we also have the Q&A whereby you can interact with me or interact with other speakers. All right. So the Q&A is only for the live attendee like yourself here, all right? To be fair for you, which you are spending your time with me. So if you have any question, if you have questions along the way and you did not put it during the registration time, feel free to put it into the Q&A box, usually on the right-hand side of your this GoToWebinar. Right, lastly, make sure you always refer to Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated resources if you are watching the recording few months down the road. All right, so before I go forward, just a short introduction again. I'm from Seller Education, and then we do provide free education and training through a variety of learning program. And the one you're attending right now is the live webinar. And also we have very useful resources where you can view and download as well, and also keep track of learning on the Seller University, where you can access it through the Seller Central under the Learn navigation. All right. So the most important part right now is, you want to know how can you start your Amazon selling journey. All right, broken down into typically like a 4 phases that you can see over here. All right. These are the 4 phases. All right, I will go through each one of it. Already, what is this Amazon store? Category selection, what preparation you need. All right, the 3 other main elements, and also how to make sure you are, compliance in your operation and the products. Okay. Now, before I go ahead again, just want to make sure that if any point of time you have question, put it into the question box. Okay. All right, so you can see there is so many stores. You probably know by now. I think we probably have more than 18 already. All right, so globally there's so many Amazon stores that you can sell on. So which one is right for you? All right, some example. All right, when you're choosing a store, these are some of the consideration, right? So example, you're going to sell on the US store. So, this might be more relevant if you do not have any like previous experience on online selling, right? Or if you do not know any other languages, right? So you can start considering to sell on the US store, right? In fact, me myself a seller, I also started in the US store. Right, I think it's one of the popular and common store, mainly because it's more well established. There's a lot more product category that you can sell on as well, and it has a very large customer base too. All right, so like what I mentioned, these stores have a lot of traffic, so it's easier for beginner if you do not have any or you have very little online selling experience. This might be good. All right. So yeah, other considerations. So if you're thinking on selling on the other store, like other EU stores, these are the things you can think of. All right, I won't touch into in depth, right? But you get a whole idea, right? When you're choosing a store, what you should be aware of and what you need to think of and consider. All right. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Japanese store is also one thing you can also sell on. Now again, most of us may not have Japanese language proficiency, so that is something you can consider in the long run when you think you want to explore into the other stores, right? So what is more important to know that whenever you think you're ready to expand beyond the English speaking or the US store, there are opportunity and you are able to do so easily on Amazon, right? Right, and this is also you can sell on Amazon India. Okay. So which one, has the best audience or your target customer goods and value, you might think. All right, so these are some of the consideration as well that you can think of. All right. Yep, audience, basically linguistic advantage is important, all right, because you will have to create your copywriting, your listing description, bullet points, etc. All right, so being able to speak in that language will allow you to create a more compelling and creative that resonate well with your target audience, all right? The other thing is like supply chain. When you want to send something over, you want to also be aware, when you're communicating to the target store, like the country, for example, US is English. You have any logistic discussion or what you may have with the party, at least you are able to communicate in that language. All right. So all in all, just want to share again that what we see is that new sellers are actually more suited to the store. They are more matured. For example, like the US store. Right. So once you had actually launched like your first store already, you can easily expand to the other store. Right. There's an option for you to go global and sell globally. Right. Once you have a existing store, you'll be able to sell on the other store easily. All right. So these are just some more info. I think it's good to have a read, but not very critical when selecting the stores. All right. So I think the next consideration is really on the product. All right. So the product that you want to be selling, is it something that you can sell in the target store? All right. Is it something that your target audience, the region that you're selling in, is it relevant to the customer there? All right, so coming back to the flow chart, right? Select a store, select a product, right? And then we go into the next one. So basically, yep, before you can start doing it, right, you do need to have the registration of the store. So I hope all of you actually already registered. If not, right, you need to go through the registration process to get access. All right. Now, the second thing to note of, you want to think about your brand, right? So you want to sell as a generic seller, meaning that you are selling without a brand, or you want to sell with a brand, meaning that you will also get the brand protection. You can actually focus on brand building, and then Amazon have the tools available. So you can register under Amazon Brand Registry to get all the benefits. All right. So I would say, think for the long run. At the start, think of selling as something that you want to do in the long run, meaning that don't go in as a generic seller if you can. Right, start building the brand from day one, which means it's always best, start with having your brand, your trademark, etc., so that you get to enjoy all the benefits that comes with registering under the Amazon Brand Registry. Okay, for those of you who had not registered yet, because I see some of the sign up, I think a couple of you mentioned that you are interested in selling but have not actually have an account yet. So we do have a webinar that walk through step by step on how to do the registration. All right. So moving on, the brand registry that I was sharing earlier on, right? So it is actually a free service or free program from Amazon. Right now, besides the trademark that you will need to get it yourself off Amazon via your local trademark officers, or if you are going to have protection in the US, then you have to get a US PTO trademark. Right? If not, let's say you are in Singapore, you can actually use your what do you call that, trademark from the IPOS to actually unlock the brand building tools, right? So maybe the key highlight is to talk about brand protection here. All right, in order to have the protection, your trademark have to be in the store that you are selling into, right? Just to make sure that everybody is aware of this. So, for example, you want your brand to be protected in the US because you are selling into the US store, then your trademark has to be registered under the US PTO. All right, it is the trademark office in US. All right. Now, other than that, you can get access to the brand tools, right? Just that the only thing about the trademark, even though we can use a Singapore trademark, is that the protection is only valid in the store that you are selling into. Okay, this is more about enrolling in the trademark. All right. So again, if you are very interested on how to enroll in Amazon Brand Registry, we do have an upcoming webinar next month where we invite external speakers to actually share with you more about how Amazon Brand Registry can actually protect your brand. All right. Right, the third part is to start to think about all these different parts of the Amazon operation that is required to run an Amazon online business. Right, first thing like the product detail page, and you want to know this is the place that your customers can actually learn about the product that you're selling. All right, and the other one, which is the logistic. Okay, so how you want to fulfill the product that your customer is buying from you? Do you intend to do self-shipping or do you intend to leverage Amazon FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, to fulfill the product to your customers? All right, lastly is, what are the tools that can help you to promote and get more visibility so that more people can actually see your product. All right, so these are I would say, the three main operations that you want to think of as well when you are doing your selling on Amazon. Okay, for those of you who did not actually shop on Amazon before, this is how the product detail page looks like. Right now, I would say that the best way is to go Amazon.com and just look at how the listing looks like. All right, but basically there are different components, right? The listing title, right? The listing price, the products, your what do you call that, bullet points, and then the description, the images, right, and also what we call the buy button, the feature offer button. Right, these are the key components that you will see in the product detail page. And then the good thing is that the bulk of these you have control in it, right? You can actually make changes to how you want it to be like, right, to get more attention, to get more visibility. All right, things like product description, you can do it yourself, or you can also use some AI tools that I share in other webinars on how to generate a good product description. All right, and then the basic product information is something you have to provide as well. You either know the details or you get those details from your supplier. All right, these are the information you need to have on hand when you are creating your listing. All right, and for the A plus content, this is only available if you are enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, right? Meaning that you have a trademark, right? Then you can actually unlock this A plus content feature. All right. What else? So the other parts that we may not have much control will be the one that is more below on the detail page, which is the um, Q&A part, or right, the reviews. All right, Q&A part, yeah, you have control when people ask questions, your potential customer ask question, right? You'll be able to respond that. You can respond as a seller. All right, and also the reviews part. All right, your customers can put in reviews, and also they can put in a star rating. All right, so this part, what we can do this part is to just make sure that we address the questions, and also we ensure our product is actually of a good quality, and then if not, you try to address those question and improve your future products. All right, based on the reviews, etc. Okay, now moving on, right? You start thinking about logistic. All right, so this give you an idea of the so-called the cross-border fulfillment process, right? It might be a little different. If you are used to selling like locally, then the process, of course, locally, domestically is much simpler compared to, selling to the overseas country. Right, so you can look at the top and the bottom part. The orange part is what we call seller fulfill logistic option, or you can call it. All right, so meaning that you actually ship the product using your own logistic option. All right, so most of the seller, let's say if somebody buy a product from you, you actually engage either your own logistic provider or some other third party provider, all right, to actually fulfill the product, and then the customer will get the product. All right, so one of these ways like this, and then alternatively on the Amazon Seller Central, there's an option for you to buy shipping services as well. So this is more easily done if you are actually residing in the country that you are selling in. All right, you are more familiar with how the shipping works, then all right, you can use the services there to buy shipping services, etc. Okay, now the other one, the blue color one below, is that you are actually leveraging Amazon services to help you with doing your shipment. All right. So what we call the first mile fulfillment or first leg of the fulfillment is you will need to ship your inventory right from from your source or your factory or where you procure the item, your product, right? You have to ship it to the Amazon warehouse or the Amazon fulfillment center, right? That's the first mile logistic portion, right? Either that, of course, you can also use other third party carrier, all right? And then once your product or your inventory reaches the Amazon fulfillment center, right? So this is assuming you're using FBA, okay? And then if any of the customer buy any of your product, the FBA will actually handle it for you. They will pick, pack, and ship the product, all right, to your customer, right? So you can see the difference. You don't have to process the order during the last mile shipping. You just need to make sure during the initial part of your first mile logistic, you make sure that your product reaches the warehouse, all right? Then of course pack everything properly, etc. So and whenever somebody buy your product, you will just receive an email that some your product was sold, and then it was delivered, that kind of stuff. So you do not have to handle the very, very operational process to go in and process the order, copy and paste the address of your customer to your third-party logistic provider and get them to send it. Right, so it saves you a lot of time if you're using FBA. All right, so FBA, as you can see, is a one-stop logistic solution, right, to simplify your labor requirement, meaning that you actually reduce your operational resources, right, if you're using FBA to fulfill the product to your customers, right? And of course, there are some more benefits as well. I won't be able to cover everything in this session, but I do have a single session just on FBA and how it can help you streamline your online business operation. So that is something you can check it out as well on my past recording. So the next thing I want to show you is regarding promotion tools. There is a few tools you can use. Now, the very common one, which everybody knows, is probably running ads. So we do have Amazon ad solutions, all right, to actually help you in this portion on every stage of the funnel of the customer journey. Right, things like sponsor brands, sponsor product, sponsor display. All right, these are the three most common Amazon Ad Solutions that you can leverage on. And basically, I'm pretty sure we all know that ads is very common, especially nowadays in all most website. So in Amazon, it's no different. So whenever you see a sponsored tag, it means that it's actually a ads that's running. All right, you can see it on your shopping result page, on the placement detail page. So if you are using ads to promote, obviously you have a option. You can choose your targeting method, the bidding method. All right, so that's for the paid ads, I would say. Now, I also want to focus with more on the slightly, or I would say majority, they are free. All right, so things like Amazon coupons you can use, right, to actually promote your product. Right, it is for Amazon for running coupon, right, it's mostly free, except that there is a 60%, sorry, 60%, 60 cent redemption fee. Okay, so whenever somebody use your coupon, you'll be charged an additional 60 cents, 60 USD cents, all right, to be called as a coupon redemption fee, right? That's the difference. Okay, coupon there is a fee, all right. So the other very good promotion tool in a way we have is Amazon Buy, right? So Amazon Buy is like a uh, it's like a, how should I put it? It's a good way to kickstart your new product launch. All right. So it's more like a review kind of thing whereby the Buy Voices, right, those who are enrolled into Amazon Buy Voices program, right, they are typically sellers. They are typically buyer who have shown to have being able to give good objective and quality feedback. All right, who get enrolled into this. All right, you can enroll your new product into this Amazon Buy program, and then the customer who actually applied to get your product will get it for free. Right now, however, in return, right, they will be giving you a good quality review, and again, this helps to kickstart your new product launch because when people see a good rating, good review, they tend to give more confidence to your brand and then to help increase sales. All right. Now, again, this is not a way to buy review, but again, if your product is actually not that great, they may also give a rating that is not what you wanted. All right. So don't see it as a way to buy a review, but rather more as a way to kickstart your product launch. All right. So yeah, there is certain tier of level of fee in this. However, the very first tier where you enroll up to if I remember, is enroll up to first 0 to 2 ASIN. I think it's free. All right. I don't know if there's any new changes. All right. So subsequent tier, if you want to enroll more product into it, right, then there'll be a fee. But at least the very first tier is actually free. All right. And then other things like what do you call that? There are other promotions that you can also leverage once you are actually more experienced in selling. You may get exposed to other promotion tools like social media codes, lightning deals, best deals, outlet sales, all right, and brand tailored coupons, etc. All right, so the key thing is that there is a lot of promotion tools to help sellers like yourself to actually get more visibility to your product. All right, so I done a part one. So there are so many tools that I need to cut the webinar into two parts for the promotional tools webinar. So part one was already done, I think last month, or you can watch the playback, right, where I cover at least about 8 promotion tools available. All right, and then part two, right, which is actually coming up, I believe is next week. Right, so remember to sign up if you have not. So I will go through part two of the Amazon promotion tools, whereby you will get to know a little bit more in depth because I will show demo at the end of the Q&A on where you can find those tools and what are the options available and how to use it. Okay, the last part I want to focus on is regarding the selling policy, right, and the code of conduct. Okay, so we do know that regardless of what website is, there is always policy and code of conduct we need to adhere to, right? So Amazon is no different. All right. So some example to share here is that, for example, seller, you know, provide a product that does not match the description. All right. So you can read through here. So the whole gist is that, as a seller ourselves, we must always provide accurate information to Amazon as well as to the customers, all right, to the consumer, to the end customers that is, using the website, right? Because, if not, it may result in a very bad user experience, customer experience, right? To discover that the description should do not match what is the product that they are receiving. Okay. Request review through this allowed channel. Now again, we are not allowed, or we should not be sending any unsolicited or inappropriate information to customers, right? Because whenever somebody buy something, right, even if you use FBA, you are able to see the customer's information. So you are not allowed to use that to send any further informations to get things or to get other reviews from other channel, etc. Okay, so it will be a violations, all right, if this thing were to be found. Let's say if a customer actually feedback or make a complaint, then you might have a problem with your account. All right, the third important one I want to share is that make sure you're not using any copyrighted material. All right, so there are cases, maybe you think you are selling something similar, and for some reason, you think that, oh, we're selling a similar thing, you could just use some of the existing images that you can find on other sellers or that kind of things, all right? Or you do some random searches from Google or something and you try to use it. All right, do know that this is also not allowed, right? So other seller may also lodge a complaint or feedback on any infringement, and then your listing may be affected too. All right. So unauthorized use of all these trademark images, any copyright thing, you need to make sure that you have the rights to use it. All right. If not, you might get into trouble by using copyright material. Right, there's a lot more, all right, that I can share, and you can see. But in general, we should be aware that most people would know that certain things is not allowed to be done. All right. No, I would say there's no surprises, but in the event that you need more information, I have again, I think it's next week as well. All right, I will go in more detail on what are the policies that you need to be aware of. Right, and the funny thing is, policy is something that most seller don't really go into it until they are getting a policy flag or infringement. So that is the thing, and I think most people are like this, right? They didn't know that, oh, certain things is not allowed until they got hit with a warning or something. Yeah, so if you're free, to join the session on 14 on Friday, all right, where I will share more about in detail on what are this policy about. Okay, I hope that gives you an idea on understanding, how can you start the Amazon selling journey, launch your product. All right, this session actually aims to be a more of a high level overview to get you to start thinking. And then each of these different topic, I actually have a more in-depth topic session webinar, and also, Seller University guides to actually cover into each different domains. All right. So yeah, you can actually find the resources. Actually, there's quite a fair bit. So I would say that you can go into Seller Central to search for it to get more detailed guides, or you can actually go to the QR code as well that I shared. Some of the useful link is also in here. All right. And the good thing about that is that if you go through Seller Central, there will be a what we call that, like a progress tracker, or you will be able to know which topic you have been through before, at what progress, so you will be able to keep track of your learning progress in Seller Central. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the Q&A section. I hope you have some question for me.